On a sunny spring day, I had an unexpected reunion. It was with my ex-husband, Ryan Baker, who had left me 20 years ago when I was ill, to marry a company president's mistress. He bragged to me, laughing heartily, "My daughter is not only beautiful like her mother, but she's also become a medical student. Isn't that amazing? It must be too enviable a story for an old maid like you, huh?" So, I told him. "Oh, what a coincidence. My 20-year-old son is also in medical school." And I was wondering, "What do you mean by that?" Hearing this, my ex-husband screamed in a frenzy. "My name is Sandra Gale. After graduating from junior college, I got a job in the accounting department of a general company. There, I met Ryan Baker, who worked in the sales department. Salespeople would submit their receipts along with their expenses every month. But Ryan was always late. Plus, there were always small errors. After several exchanges over these issues, we got to know each other better. "Sandra, are these receipts okay for this month?" Finally, they are complete. Other seniors always submit theirs on time. It's only Mr. Baker who always takes so much time. "Well, because when I'm late, I get to talk to you." "What?" "If you don't mind, let me treat you to dinner. I'm always causing you trouble." This was the beginning of us going out for meals and eventually starting to date. After dating for 2 years, we got married. Ryan seemed like the ideal husband, bright and kind. After we get married, I want 2 kids, a boy and a girl. Then, the 4 of us can live happily together. And I want you, Sandra, to focus on housework and childcare, so I'd like you to quit your job. With that, I too thought I would dedicate myself to housework and childcare once we had children. So I quit my job. The first year was fun as we planned our future life together. But as the year passed without any signs of pregnancy, the distance between us grew. Yet, I still thought our married life was just beginning. That's when I discovered my illness. When I was told I needed to be hospitalized long-term for treatment, I was shocked. But my husband seemed even more disturbed by the news. "What? Ill? Are you okay?" "Yes, I need to be hospitalized for a while." "Sorry for making you worry." I thought my husband was worried about me, and I tried to reassure him. Could it be that this illness is why we haven't been able to conceive? "What?" My husband's complexion changed as he accused me. "I thought we could build the ideal family, but an illness. Did you marry me knowing you were ill?" "No, what are you talking about? This is the first time I've learned about my illness." "Don't say such strange things." "But, it's strange that you got sick right after getting married. Maybe you can't have children because of your illness?" After such accusations, I was furious. Here I was, shocked by my illness, and he was accusing me of hiding it. I was speechless with the absurdity of it all, and seeing my reaction. My husband quickly retreated to the bedroom alone. I thought maybe he was just upset because of the sudden news. I too was quite shaken when I heard from the doctor. So I understood that it was hard to believe at first. Our interactions remained awkward, and a few days later, I was hospitalized. I don't have many good memories of my hospital stay because my husband never visited me. Initially, I thought he was busy with household chores since I wasn't there. But when a week passed without any word from him, I got worried and called him. "Hey, you're off work today, right? Are you eating okay? Are you managing?" "Yeah, I'm fine. How about you? No prospect of discharge, right?" "Yes, sorry for not being able to do anything at home." "Don't worry about me. I'm busy, so I don't think I can visit." "Okay, take care of yourself then. Weeks passed since that phone call, and not once did my husband visit. He didn't even send a single email. I understood he was busy, but I still felt lonely. My only conversational companions for those weeks were doctors and nurses, with whom casual chats were not the same. Naturally, my mood began to sink. The mounting uncertainty about whether my illness would truly heal was overwhelming. Wanting to exchange even a few words with my husband, I decided to call him. It was evening, a time when he would usually be at home. After a few rings, he answered the phone. "What do you want?" His voice was cold over the phone. "I was just wondering how you are." "Hey, when is your next day off? Could you come visit me sometime?" "Why? My coming won't cure you, will it?" "Yes, but I'm lonely here by myself. Please, even just for a little while, I'd like to see you and talk." Just then, I heard a woman's voice behind him. "Hey, who are you talking to?" "Oh, it's okay, I'll be done soon," he said to her. "Wait, who? A colleague? Or where are you? Who are you with?" I couldn't help but press him in a demanding tone. "Does it matter?" "It's none of your business." "None of my business." "Is it someone from work? Or could it be that you—" "A client." "I'm busy right now, I'll call back later." With that, he abruptly ended the call. He never called back, nor did he visit. From that day on, I began to suspect his infidelity. Whenever I called during hours he should have been free, he wouldn't answer the phone, and he certainly never visited. My anxiety grew steadily. Then, a few weeks later, a letter arrived at the hospital. Inside was a divorce petition and a return envelope. I immediately called my husband, and surprisingly, he answered smoothly. "Hey, what is this?" "A divorce petition." I inadvertently pressed him, forgetting it had been a while since we last spoke. "Good, it arrived properly. To put it bluntly, please agree to the divorce," he stated flatly. "Why? Because I'm sick? Or did you find someone else?" I asked. "It's both, obviously. I wanted to build the ideal family, but you turned out to be infertile and sick. We've only been married for a year, and you're already living in the hospital." "I didn't marry you to take care of you," he explained. "Indeed, I couldn't support my husband in my current state, I was more of a burden. But that didn't justify a sudden divorce." Unperturbed by my shock, he continued. "Fortunately, I've met the ideal person. She's much healthier than you, and it looks like I can build the perfect family with her. So please, let's get divorced." Despite what he said, I couldn't accept it and quickly retorted. "Wait a minute. What if I can get pregnant once I'm cured? Don't just abandon me because I'm sick." His response was unexpected. "It's only natural to leave you. Even if your illness is cured, you might still be infertile. Instead of wasting resources on you, I want to be happy with someone with whom I can definitely start a new family. And she is already pregnant with my child." "What?" I was too shocked to speak. "The child I couldn't have with you, I conceived immediately with her. It must be fate that she and I should be a couple," he said. "So, you were cheating on me after all." Pfft, waiting forever for a sick woman is a waste of time. Who knows if you'll even get better? How could he say such things? He used to be kind when we were dating, but now not a trace of that kindness remained. He went on. "Moreover, she is the daughter of a company president. She might not take over as president since she's the second daughter, but she can become an executive. So not only am I gaining a family, but I also have no worries about our future life. Isn't that great? The daughter of a president? Yes, his affair was with the daughter of a president. Yes, surely heaven has gifted me the perfect family. What was he talking about? Speaking as if heaven had granted him a present. Yet his sincerity was lacking from the moment he chose to cheat. Could such a person truly receive a gift from heaven? And does the woman you're with know you're married? Normally, daughters of presidents don't seem like the type to have affairs. What are you talking about? It's not an affair to her, and I didn't intend to cheat. We were both serious. It was just a matter of misaligned timing. Besides, you and I were practically separated anyway. Separated? I'm just hospitalized. But as a couple, we're finished, aren't we? You can't have children, you can't manage anything at home. You're just living comfortably in the hospital. Can someone like that even be called a wife? That's harsh. Consider yourself lucky I'm letting you off with a free divorce. I should be asking for compensation for ruining my life. Ruining your life? You don't have to put it like that. What are you talking about? If I hadn't met you, I wouldn't have had such a meaningless marriage. And I wouldn't have a mark on my family register. Just write the divorce papers properly. Then I'll file them. Faced with his words, I couldn't respond. Indeed, I had become sick soon after our marriage. Instead of supporting my husband, perhaps I had been a burden. And his affair already had a child, the child he had always wanted. Maybe I was just a nuisance to them. Thinking this over, it seemed best to agree to the divorce, and I said, okay. I never expected such a thing when we married. I thought I was building a happy family with the person I loved. How wrong I was, to be discarded so easily just because I got sick. In retrospect, I could have demanded compensation, but at that time, being worn down by a lengthy hospital stay, I agreed to the divorce too readily. Afterward, I was so shocked that I couldn't even eat. Was this how my life was going to end? Just then, I was saved by someone. 20 years later, in a villa in Long Island, I had an unexpected reunion. Who do I see here? Long time no see. The person greeting me was Ryan Baker, my ex-husband, who had left me 20 years earlier to have a child with his mistress. Oh, Mr. Baker? Long time no see. You look well. I thought you might have died out there, but here you are, alive. He said with a smirk. Such a terrible thing to say. Unfortunately for you, I'm still kicking. And these are your wife and daughter? Yes. Aren't they beautiful? My wife is a president's daughter, and my daughter is a beauty like her mother. Plus, she's a medical student. Impressive, right? Ryan boasted about his beautiful daughter beside him, who indeed had big eyes, a high nose, and a well-proportioned face. Looking very much like her mother next to him. Well, good for you. Congratulations. As I said this, the wife, who wore heavy makeup giving her a cold impression, spoke to Ryan. And who is this? Oh, you've never met. She's my ex-wife. Ah, the one who couldn't have children because of her illness. Ryan's wife assessed me as if appraising an item. Huh? Couldn't have children? Was he telling people that? As I stood dumbfounded, Ryan dismissively said, yeah, that's her. Then their daughter, unable to wait any longer, said, Dad, there's something I want to buy. If we don't hurry, it might sell out. All right, I'll buy it for you. Go ahead to the store. Okay. Mom, let's go together. Having said that, the daughter and wife quickly walked away. Watching the daughter's back, my ex-husband smirked and said, "How about that? Envious, aren't you? She's always nagging me to go shopping." "Oh, maybe that's too much for an old maid like you to hear, huh?" Thinking about how he became such a nasty person after marrying a company president's daughter made me realize that breaking up was indeed the right decision. Plus, I'm not an old maid. I decided to set the record straight. Really, children are wonderful, aren't they? They have their rebellious phases, but you still find them adorable, I said. What? What makes you think you understand? Are you delusional? At your age, you couldn't possibly have kids anymore, you were infertile to begin with. My ex-husband replied, bursting into laughter. His misunderstanding made me laugh. What are you talking about? You still think I'm infertile? Actually, I remarried, and I have 3 children. My eldest is already 20 years old, and coincidentally, he's also in medical school. They might even be at the same university. What? You have kids? That can't be right. A 20-year-old? Isn't that the same age as my child? That's impossible, we broke up 20 years ago. Oh, I see, they must be your partner's children from a previous relationship, right? That makes sense, you can't have kids because of your illness. Why do you insist I can't have children? True, the 20-year-old is my stepchild, but he is just as much my own. It was then that 2 children approached us, running over. Mom, where have you been? You said you were at the store. Why are you here? Sorry, I bumped into an acquaintance and got caught up. Did you have to look for me? I'm sorry. Watching me talk to the children, my ex-husband asked, "Wait, your children? You said one was 20, didn't you? These kids look young. How old are they?" I said my eldest child is 20. These 2 are 14 and 12. I told you, I have 3 children. The eldest isn't at an age to go shopping with us anymore. Hearing this, my ex-husband scoffed. 3 stepchildren, and you're playing mom all of a sudden? Just then, a man approached. It was Ethan, my current husband. Ah, there you are. Sorry I left the kids with you. I ran into my ex-husband and got caught up talking. Are you okay? Should I join the conversation? Ethan, sensing the situation, offered to join, but I said, it's okay, thank you. I'll talk a bit longer. You go back to the villa with the kids. Ethan knows all about how my ex-husband left me. He was probably worried, but I am no longer the weak person I was 20 years ago. Since I had the chance, I wanted to clear up any misunderstandings. Once Ethan and the children left, my ex-husband asked, "A villa? You became rich or what?" Not rich, but yes, we do own a villa here in Long Island. We're here on vacation. Actually, my current husband's father is the hospital director. And my husband is also a doctor. Wow. And just so you know, because you seem confused, the 2 younger ones are biologically mine. No way. You were sick, there's no way you could have kids. You're mistaken. I was never infertile. Indeed, I was sick 20 years ago, but that was not the reason I couldn't get pregnant. Abandoned by my ex-husband, who blamed me for not being able to conceive and then discarded me when I fell ill. I was despondent. At that time, Ethan, who was my attending physician, supported me. Not only was he a competent doctor, but he was also kind and helped me face my treatment. Thanks to him, I was discharged from the hospital. Ethan had lost his wife shortly after his child was born. and was raising a small child on his own. At first, the child did not warm up to me, but over time, as we got married and built a life together, we formed a trusting relationship. Later, I gave birth to 2 more children, making us a family of 5 with 3 children. Facing my bewildered ex-husband, I continued. My husband is the next hospital director. Our eldest son is in medical school to take over the hospital, and the younger ones might follow in his footsteps. My ex-husband, seemingly jealous, retorted. So, you moved up in the world all of a sudden, like me. But let me guess, your kid got into med school through the back door. Or some other dishonest way, right? My daughter earned her spot with a tutor. What are you talking about? We don't do things like that. Our son is so talented he gave a speech at the entrance ceremony. He's at T University's medical school. Is your daughter at the same one? Eh? That prestigious T University? No. I mean, my daughter is at S University's medical school. Seeing his reaction to hearing his son's university was a tough one, I smiled. That's why I'm happy now. Still wanting to belittle me, my ex said. Don't brag about something that's not even about you, it's disgraceful. Even though he had bragged about his daughter first. Still, I'm surprised you had 2 children. Then why didn't we have any when we were together? Ah, that question. Here I decided to share a speculation. Who knows? Timing is everything, and it's hard to say. But I let the implication hang. But, well, I remembered something after our divorce. You had mumps before we married, right? You had a high fever and missed work? So what? His voice trembled slightly. Since my current husband is a doctor, I asked him about fertility issues, considering our situation. He said infertility isn't always on the woman's side. I've had 2 kids since then. What are you trying to say? That men can become infertile from adult mumps. You're trying to say it's my fault, right? But that can't be true, can it? After all, I have a beautiful daughter. He nodded, acknowledging it, so I mentioned something that had been on my mind. It's true, isn't it? Your wife gave birth to your child, that's why you married her. But your daughter doesn't look like you at all. What? I can see she resembles her mother. But when I look at you and your daughter together, you seem like strangers. She has such a well-defined face. Right? I often hear she looks like her mother. My ex-husband boasted, oblivious to the implications. I dared to ask, has anyone ever told you she looks like you? Huh? He fell silent. That response was telling enough, he had never been told she resembled him. Is she your only child? Yes, having just her is enough for us. When we were married. You used to say you wanted a family with 2 boys and 2 girls. I said, a hint of sarcasm in my tone. That was a long time ago. Besides, having children isn't something you can just decide to do. That was exactly what I thought back then. Right. And since she's a president's daughter, unlike you, she wouldn't cheat. What are you trying to say? My ex-husband seemed increasingly unsettled. Well, I'm just wondering if she's really your child. That's all. Nowadays, anyone can do a DNA test. Have you checked? What? No, I haven't, but she got pregnant while we were together. So she must be my child, right? I wouldn't know, I didn't give birth to her. I'm just curious because you 2 don't look alike at all. It's none of my business, but if you're curious, why don't you check? You're saying she's not my child? My ex-husband almost seemed hysterical as he shouted. I'm not saying that exactly. I'm just talking about possibilities. But if she isn't your child, then you've been deceived for 20 years. Well, that's unlikely, right? But if it bothers you, why not check? I said with a smile. No, that can't be true. My family wouldn't have such issues. He staggered off in the direction his daughter and wife had gone. I was curious to see what would happen next. A few weeks later, I got a call from an unknown number. Hey, what should I do? The man on the other end sounded panicked. Ah, Mr. Ryan Baker? What's wrong? Hey, you were right, he said, his voice clearly shaken. I did a paternity test with my daughter. And it turns out there's almost no chance I'm her father. When I confronted my wife, she admitted she'd had an affair with her sister's husband. The daughter is actually my brother-in-law's child. Our family is a mess now. I don't know what to do. Turns out, my ex-husband was having an affair with his current wife at the time. But she was also cheating on him with her brother-in-law. To keep it from her sister, she claimed the child was my ex-husband's and married him. It was like something out of a soap opera. Surely, this was divine retribution for leaving me, sick, for his affair partner. Serves him right. Also, it turns out I have fertility issues. I married into a president's family. But none of my own blood will be born. Plus, the issue with the child might lead to divorce. My job might even be at risk. Can you help me? What was he thinking? It was all his own doing. I don't know what to tell you. You left me and chose that family, didn't you? You should discuss this with them and figure it out on your own. It has nothing to do with me. Please don't call this number again. Goodbye. After that, I heard no more from my ex-husband. However, rumors told me he got divorced and was kicked out of the house. He claimed he was deceived about not being the father. But his wife insisted she had told him before their marriage and he had agreed to it. In the end, he couldn't even get compensation. Moreover, because he had been working at his wife's company. After the divorce, he felt too uncomfortable to stay and quit. Where he is or what he's doing now, I don't know. After dreaming of having his own children and an ideal family when we were married. To find out now that he can't have children of his own. And that he has been raising a child not biologically his, must be truly miserable. Perhaps he is regretting his life choices. Years later, my eldest son became a doctor. And works at the same hospital as my husband. My second son has also passed the medical school entrance exams. And aims to follow in his brother's footsteps. Next holiday, my eldest plans to bring his current partner to meet us. Though he is not my biological son, I believe we have built a good parent-child relationship. After being discarded by my ex-husband, I almost gave up on life. But now my past seems like a lie, filled with so much happiness.